Alright, so here is what comes in a game of roll and pin. What's inside this box? Inside this box, you're going to find 54 cards, a deck of cards, which include 12 control cards, 12 defense cards, 12 offense cards, and 18 Vi cards. All will be used in your game. Included in this box, you will have 2 dice, which you will require, a set of instructions, 10 submission cards, and 2 quick reference cards, which will help you figure out the game more quickly. So that's what's included in a box of roll and pin. This is how you set up a game of roll and pin. First, each player receives or chooses a submission card and places it face up on the table. The remaining submission cards are placed off to the side within reach from both players. Each player also receives a quick reference card, places it just below the submission card. After which, each player is dealt 5 cards. And the remaining deck placed in between the submission cards. One player will receive 1 dice and the other player will receive the second dice. And that is how you set up a game of roll and pin. And now that you're set up and ready to play, all you need to do is set your timer for 10 minutes and press start. And the game has begun. The object of the game is to submit your opponent by collecting and placing all the required cards needed in your submission, or by collecting more points than them within the 10-minute round. A game consists of 2 phases. The first is called the porrada, which is then immediately followed by the Vi phase. Once the Vi phase is complete, players begin at the porrada phase once again. The phases continue in this order until the 10-minute timer is complete or a player completes their submission. In order to achieve the objective of submitting your opponent or collecting points, players must win the cards they need by defeating their opponent in a head-to-head match where players place a card from their hand face down. After the count of 3, both players reveal their cards. The winner is determined by which cards are played. On the top left-hand corner of each card, there is a letter C for control, D for defense, or O for offense. These determine who's the winner in each encounter. Offense cards beat control cards, control beats defense, and defense beats offense. Whoever wins in this encounter takes both cards and is able to place one of the cards on their submission or keep it for points. They are also able to discard both. In this situation, control beats defense. I am able to play it here and keep it as a part of my submission, or place it off to the side here and they count as points. Only cards with the numbers on them count as points. The remaining card goes into the discard pile here. If I play this control card on my submission, I no longer need to capture this column in cards, and I am one step closer to completing my submission and winning the game. After this, both players replenish their hand so that they each have 5 cards. Next, we move on to the Vi phase. In the Vi phase, each player takes their die and rolls. The player with the highest die roll has the opportunity to then first play their Vi card first. A Vi card is indicated by the word Vi on the top left-hand corner of the card. In this situation, I am able to discard 3 cards from my hand and draw replacements to restore my hand to 5 cards. Vi cards either help me or make it more difficult for my opponent to win. I am then able to place this card down. I play the Vi card. I am now able to dispose of 3 extra cards and replenish my hand to 5. After which, my opponent is able to play their Vi card if they have one. In this situation, my opponent does not have a Vi card and they are able to pass. It is also worth noting that if I did not want to play my Vi card, I have the ability to pass as well. Once the Vi phase is complete, we return to the Pahada phase where each player plays a card face down, and on the count of 3, cards are flipped, and we attempt to capture the cards that we need to either complete our submission or get more points than our opponent. Each phase is then continued in this order, Pahada then Vi, then back to Pahada, until the timer is complete or a submission is obtained. Obtaining a submission. A submission can be achieved at any point of the game within the 10 minutes. Once the player plays the final card in their submission, the game is over. A submission is when a player captures all the required cards that are mentioned in their submission, 1 for each column. In this situation, I have captured the hooks, the arm trap, the backpack, and the Toriando pass. Because I have captured all 4 cards, 1 in each column, I win the game. At the end of the 10 minutes, if neither player is able to obtain a submission by completing their submission card, winner is determined by tallying up the points. Points are collected on the bottom side of the table. In this situation, the opponent has 4 points. I have 0 points. If this is the end of the game, my opponent wins. Determining a winner if both players have the same amount of points. In this situation, neither player was able to obtain a submission, and both players have the same amount of points, 2 for me and 2 for my opponent. The winner is then determined by the amount of attempts that a player has placed on their submission. If a player plays more cards on their submission than their opponent, they are the winner. So in this situation, I had placed more attempts, meaning I've captured hooks and backpack, plus I have the same amount of points, whereas my opponent only placed 1 card on their submission, arm trap. This means that I have won. In the case of a tie where both players have the same amount of points and the same amount of attempts on their submission cards, the game is a draw and you play again. A few things to note. First, in order to complete a submission card, you only need 1 of each column. So 1O, 1C, 1D, 1O here. So all I need is 1 hooks, 1 deep collar grip or arm trap, 1 backpack or mount, and 1 Toriando or stack pass to complete this submission. Only cards with a number have points. So, and can be placed to the side as a points card. In this situation, these have 2 points as well as this. In the situation here, backpack has 4 points. It is also worth mentioning that if a card is placed on a submission, they do not count as points. So if I choose to put backpack here, I only have 2 points in the Uchimata, and I do not have the 4 points that is placed on the submission cards. I can also choose to put it here, but then they do not apply to my submission. And that is how you play a game of roll and pin. Hopefully you have a great time playing. Please follow us on Instagram at rollandpin_the_bjj_game and let us know what you think. Happy rolling!